I don't know if you guys know this, but, you know, Democrats are way better than Republicans.
1 trillion billion times.
Yeah.
1,000 times better.
If you believe as I believe.
Yeah. Well, let's listen to Krystal Ball tell us why.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I can't believe it that we're still having this argument, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I always say, tell me one thing that Joe Biden has done better than Donald Trump. Tell me one freaking thing.
I'm going to be watching Sagar stifling himself while she says this.
Take a look. Take a look.
Only thing that Cornel West, Dr. West, who I love, admire, respect, whose politics I almost wholly and completely share. I think effectively the only thing that his campaign will accomplish is, number one, helping to reelect Donald Trump, and number two, hurting the left. Because ultimately, you know, there's just a poll that came out that...
Gotcha. The left, Jimmy.
So the balls on her are the biggest balls I've seen on somebody who said something like that.
Is the left a kind of hair dye?
Because the left is like more of a... The left? You're referring to Joe Biden as the left? Even AOC doesn't do that anymore, you fucking liar.
Is that why they didn't nudge him left? He was already there this whole time?
He was already there, Kurt. That's why they didn't nudge him left. They didn't pull him left. She's referring to Joe Biden and the Democrats as left. She's just a joke of a person now. That's just a joke.
You don't believe she honestly believes that in her own mind?
Of course she does. Of course she knows the opposite is true. Of course she's just saying that shit now. She's a 40 millionaire. I know that.
That's what I'm saying. It's never going to affect her.
It's never. So nothing's ever going to affect her. So she wants to stay in good with her shit lib cabal, and that's all this is. This is nuts. I hope Sagar says something during this. Does he say anything during this?
You're going to have to take bets on that. But if I was betting, no.
I'm watching.
No, take a...
Biden and Trump basically tied in a head-to-head. You throw Cornel West in, and Trump is winning by like 5 points. And the margin is just exactly the amount that Dr.
And guess what's supposed to happen? The Democrats are supposed to become better candidates to attract more voters. The biggest voting block of people are the people who don't vote. 100 million people don't vote in the goddamn country. Maybe you try to get those people to vote for you. She's doing the exact... She sounds like Joe Biden.
Okay,
she sounds like Hillary Clinton. She sounds like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. That's what Krystal Ball... She sounds like Debbie Wasserman Schultz with bigger balls. That's what Krystal Ball sounds like right now. But maybe she's got the perfect last name because she's got huge balls to say this shit that we all know she knows better than. She doesn't believe what she's saying because that's fucking garbage.
Couldn't she say, since she agrees with Cornel West's political positions,
that she should try to convince a lot of other people to vote for? So what she's saying, Kurt, is that you can't vote for a third-party candidate until a lot of other people are also voting for them.
I'm going to solve her problem. Couldn't she go, I agree with Cornel West, so yeah, all it would accomplish is making Joe Biden lose, so he should hold Joe Biden hostage.
That's right.
Until he does the things that I agree with.
That's correct.
That's what she could say.
That's what she's supposed to say.
Got him by the balls.
That's what she's supposed to say.
You guys are not conscious of the creeping authoritarianism that's there. You're not conscious of the fascism
that's exactly
that Donald Trump brings. He doesn't believe in democracy.
So just like with Hillary Clinton in 2016. If Hillary Clinton can't garner enough votes to win the election, she shouldn't win the election. And if Joe Biden can't garner enough votes to win the election, he shouldn't win the election. It sounds like they don't like democracy because that's exactly what this is. It sounds like 40 millionaire Krystal Ball likes corporate rule of both our parties, and you can't have an uncorporate party to vote for. She already said she agrees with him, but she won't vote for him because not enough people are already voting for him. That's not how politics works. You have to vote your conscience, and then everybody else, she's going to wait till a bunch of other people show actual balls and courage and dignity and consistency and vote their conscience. She's going to wait for a bunch of other people to beat her to it to vote third party, and then she'll allow herself to actually participate in democracy in a meaningful way. But until then, the corporation has to win. That's what 40 millionaire Krystal Ball is saying, and she's fucking lying to your face. She's pissing in your face, and Sagar's watching her do it.
Yeah, look at him, by the way.
You know what's the most irritating about...
He's just fucking sitting there.
He's just sitting there. Look at him.
He's just sitting there.
Look,
not saying to fuck. The whole point...
You know what's the most irritating about that whole fucking... You got to go for the lesser of two evils? Like, I understand that you guys have all these Machiavellian strategies for winning.
And none of them work.
Yeah, none of them work. But what I hate the most is you think I have to think strategically with you? You're supposed to handle all that, and I just show up and vote who I want to vote for, and I don't have to think strategically. But if I do this, then the other. What am I on? What's that island show?
The Survivor.
What am I on Survivor? Where I got to strategically make friends.
You do.
I'm
Big
the guy
brother, baby.
who doesn't have to do that. You're the politician. You work out the strategy where I don't have to think about that shit.
So what she's not doing is she won't, just like Bernie Sanders and AOC in the squad, Krystal Ball will never pressure the Democrats to become better, and she'll never use leverage. So if Cornel West can make Joe Biden lose the election, that's called leverage.
Hold him hostage.
But
wielding
leverage
power
scares the shit out of people who have a $40 million in the bank and don't give a fuck about Medicare for all or a living wage or ending the wars. They're for the goddamn Ukraine war. That's how smart Krystal Ball is. That's what such a fucking war pig she was and is. And that's what's wrong with this goddamn country, because people who get $40 million somehow convince other people they're regular people and they care about them, even as they piss in their face and tell them the same shit Debbie Wasserman Schultz told them fucking 8 years ago. That's what Krystal Ball is good for. If you want to know what Debbie Wasserman Schultz thought 8 years ago, go watch Krystal Ball's show.
Today. And, I don't know what they're waiting for to do this, right? There's an old saying we used to have on the streets as activists. If not us, who? If not now, when?
Vote Biden now. Oh.
If not here, where? If not me, who?
If not now, when?
If not here, where? If not who? If not me, who?
Yeah.
That's what Jesse Jackson used to say. And then he would go, I am somebody.
Well,
from the outhouse to the state house to the state house to the White House, I am somebody. That's what he would say.
Stay tuned for more of a Sagar just looking puzzled at Krystal Ball. He's got a
exactly the amount that Dr. West takes away from Joe Biden.
She even says that's exactly the amount of votes that Cornel West will get. That will take away enough for Trump over the finish line.
You fucking moron on purpose. Those people who are going to vote for Cornel West wouldn't fucking show up to vote in the first place. Again, she knows that. They pretend, honest to God, this thing that they're the dumbest people in the room.
Yeah.
And that's what Krystal Ball and Sagar are right now pretending that they are. That they're the dumbest people in the room and they've never heard the counter argument to this. They used to make the counter fucking argument. Yeah. And now they're saying this. Why? Because they want to be the new mainstream. They want to get corporate cash. They want to be the big shots. They have $40 million in the bank, and they couldn't give a shit about fighting for people, just like Bernie Sanders doesn't give a shit about fighting for you, nor Joe Biden. They're fucking... I love Cornel West, but he better not participate in democracy because he's helping the right wing. Why don't you just call him a white supremacist? You're that close.
And the thing about it is, too, is that the Green Party is not the third party. They're the fourth party. Okay?
That's right.
The Libertarian Party, who Maj we just have on, they're the third party, and they generally take away from the Republican. So the other third party is taking twice as many votes away from Donald Trump as Cornel West will take away from Joe Biden.
That's how bad Joe Biden's doing?
Now, listen, it's fully on Joe Biden that he needs to do more to appeal to potential Cornel West voters, but let's live in the land of reality of how this is going to work out. They're not going to do that. Dr. West will take some percentage, relatively small percentage, away from the Democratic total, and it makes it easier for Donald Trump to get elected. So if your priority is re-electing a Democrat, and if you believe, as I do, that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are not equivalent, that Joe Biden has been better in particular on economics, but also with things like the withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Are you joking?
You've got to be joking. She just didn't say that.
Yes,
that Joe Biden with
economics.
So here's what a smart person would say, who's not an idiot with $40 million in the bank. They would say exactly when Joe Biden was pulling out of Afghanistan, like I said at that moment, don't pat him on the back. He's not promising to take the money we're spending in Afghanistan and invest it back in America. He's going to take that money and put it into another war. We just have to find out what it was. I said that in real time when that was happening. And of course, what had happened is he put that money into Ukraine, and Krystal Ball was for that war. She's also a war pig. When you look at Krystal Ball's face, that's a pig, a war pig.
The Taliban was bad to women, and we need to go over there and protect them.
She's honest to God. If you want to watch Hillary Clinton give you the news, you should watch Krystal Ball give you the news, because that sounds like Hillary Clinton.
Would you rather have the day off school or be drone bombed? That's what I would. That's what I would
and the whole fact that you talk about the Taliban, right? Like, oh, we have to do it to protect the Taliban from the women. Well, the Taliban was eventually the Mujahideen, which was supported by the United States, funded by the United States
They're
Foreign Policy
Mujahideen
Aberdeen,
first.
the Mujahideen,
Yeah, right.
and they morphed into. So it's like you want to go after the same group. You want the same people who caused the problem to be the solution.
Well, I mean, I just don't want to go up against the same people who we lost to. It's kind of embarrassing. We lost to the Taliban. We had to leave our stuff.
You didn't see Rambo 3, obviously.
Then, yeah, I think a third-party effort makes it more likely that Donald Trump gets reelected. And the reason why I say I think it will ultimately also hurt the left wing and left principles, if that's what you care about, is we have the model of 2016. Look, the theory in 2016 with Jill Stein was if we withhold our votes from the Democrats, and that's going to force them to the table, we're going to have a voice in the room, they're going to have to come to our side. No, that's not what they did. Instead, they demonized anyone who would have even considered Jill Stein. They used it to demonize the left. They used it to undercut any sort of leftward push.
And so what we should do
She just contradicted herself.
She just said, if you don't go with the Democrats, what's going to happen is they're going to demonize the third party more. I don't care.
What?
That's unbelievable. By the way, 2016, that big disaster, as miserable as those years were, they were all better than now. All of those screaming no Trump years was better all around than the last
certainly less
by
war.
every measure.
Certainly less war, and she of course pretends that she doesn't know that it was Donald Trump that set up the timetable to get out of Afghanistan. She also pretends that that was the reason they impeached him, because Donald Trump wouldn't do enough bombing for the military-industrial complex, which is exactly why they criminalized him. She pretends she's the dumbest person in the room, and she might be.
And she's also misleading people by saying a third party is going to elect Donald Trump. No, if the Libertarian Party didn't have a candidate that ran, right, then Donald Trump would automatically be the president, because all those libertarians would go and vote for the Republicans. By far, there's more libertarian votes in 2016 and 2020 than there were Green Party votes, plain and simple.
I hope they lose to Trump again. They deserve it. They deserve to put him on trial and put him in jail and then lose to him. They deserve it more than anything in the world.
And of course she's not worried about the actual fascism that's happening, which is Joe Biden and the Democrats the establishment, because the Republicans are going along with it too. So the establishment criminalizing anybody who stands up to the establishment, and so that's all that is. They would do the same thing to Bernie Sanders. They do the same thing to Cornel West. They do the same thing to Jill Stein. They did handcuff her to a chair for 8 hours. She just showed up to a debate. So of course they would do that to anybody who stands up. And of course she's cool with the fascism. She's cool with war. She's cool with Joe Biden and the white supremacy of the Democratic Party. She's cool with all that stuff.
There's no changes on this end.
This is unbelievable. She is worse than pundits were in 2015. She's taken us way back to that.
Yep. Well, she does care about the corporatist fascism of the Democratic Party.
She doesn't give a shit about shit.
I would love to imagine that theory of the case would work out. We've seen the reality, and that is not what happens. Now, the place where I profoundly disagree with Bernie Sanders is on his orientation towards the Democratic primary. And there's another section of this where he gets asked specifically about the Democratic primary. And he says, I think we need to unify behind Joe Biden, because that will be what helps to defeat Donald Trump. Well, that's exactly the argument that was used against Bernie Sanders himself.
Yes.
Both in 2016 and again
She's
in
disagreeing
2020.
with herself.
Wait, what?
She's just disagreeing with herself.
She just used it herself.
It's just not cool if he does it?
No, I think that, like, if you want to throw up a guff against the Democratic Party, it's only symbolism. At the end of the day, you got to make sure you capitulate back to the Democratic Party, because we don't want the creeping authoritarianism of Donald Trump coming in.
What would that be? You can tweet more freely? What was he going to do?
So what she's saying is, if you ever do get leverage over one of the corporate parties, it would be a mistake to use it. That's what she's saying.
Pretty much.
So again, so she's good. She wants a bunch of shit-lib Brooklynites watching her show, which is all they have.
Yes,
and they have right wingers and shit-libbers from Brooklyn, and that's that. And wow,
it's their same message.
Wow.
You can have a good-hearted, spirited primary.
Who the fuck wants to watch that?
You could have a good-hearted, spirited primary, but at the end of the day, you got to do what's right and go vote for the blue candidate.
Oh, I watch.
No
I like to see them saying things about Ukraine that we said 2 years ago.
Here's what she used to say about voting for the two-party duopoly.
This is when Krystal met Kyle and they canceled each other's previous views out somehow.
Somehow.
Signing on for an affirmative Joe Biden vote means
actively supporting a politician and political movement that's most deeply held conviction is kicking you in the face. Signing.
This is what this. I hope somebody puts together a video just like they did with Kyle's, because this is it. So you remember the video we just showed you about her saying you're an idiot and you have to vote for.
Be realistic.
Be realistic. You can't vote for a third party person. But listen to what she used to say when it was more popular to say this kind of thing. So when Bernie Sanders actually was leading a movement, Krystal Ball followed him because it was popular. And now Bernie Sanders isn't, so she's not following him. She's still following him because it's not popular to go against the two parties anymore. So she's changed. Listen to what she used to say.
Signing on for an affirmative Joe Biden vote means actively supporting a politician and political movement that's most deeply held conviction is kicking you in the face.
Wow, sounds like a different person.
Signing on for the continuation of an abusive relationship. And
she's saying that what she is saying now, she's advocating for an abusive relationship with you and the Democratic Party.
Wow.
Because that's what she used to say. I wonder what changed. $40 million? It's not popular anymore to be against the two parties? I don't know. I guess whatever. She doesn't have the courage of her conviction at all, and this proves it.
Importantly, signing on for a status quo.
She's an actress, very much like AOC.
Yeah.
She doesn't believe a fucking thing she says. She knows the popular thing to say at the moment, and then she'll say it.
That has brought millions of Americans economic, emotional, and physical ruin. And their whole strategy rests on the assumption that in spite of your protestations and gnashing of teeth on Twitter, you will, in fact, fall in line. Sure, progressive groups issued a list of demands, but Biden's not going to take any of those seriously because no one's making him take them seriously.
Including Krystal Ball and Kyle Kalinske. They'll never use their leverage to make Joe Biden take them seriously. They'll never do anything except fall in line with the corporatocracy that is the Democratic Party. Isn't it amazing that she used to sound like Jimmy Dore and now she sounds like Debbie Wasserman Schultz?
Yeah, but Jimmy, there's a lot of things that have changed. We have a creeping authoritarianism. Democracy's on the ballot. Fascism.
They're letting people say some things on Twitter now. I think we're at crisis.
These groups have already pledged to vote for him and organize the youth vote. Why? Because as Mehdi says, what other choice do you have? But in fact, there is another choice.
There's another choice.
It's a choice that centrists wield very effectively, like a battle axe, all the time. Centrists and their corporate allies are constantly coddled and constantly pandered to and have won all the power in America because they are willing to withhold their votes. Maybe we'll be with you, maybe we won't. And the reality confronting leftists right now is that while it may be ugly and you will 100% be hated, I can promise you that, there is no path to actual power that doesn't involve being willing to wield the power that you have.
And she is not willing to do that. And she's proven it to you over and over. She's kicking you and pissing right in your mouth. She's draining her balls of urine into your mouth. And she doesn't give a fuck. And this is proof of that. And why is it upsetting? Because she represents a lot of people with zero integrity and are willing to lie to you because it's popular at this moment. And that's what she's doing. Here we go.
There will be no concessions granted out of kindness. And if the GOP's central driving force right now is owning the libs, the Dems' central driving force right now is to own the left. Don't let Obama's nice words or Bernie's castigating fool you.
Wow. She completely contradicted herself.
Wow.
No, she's just evolved.
Again, so I didn't even have to say any of that shit I said earlier in this video. I could have just played this and you see what a phony, fraud, liar that Krystal Ball is. And she's proud of it. They're proud of being shit libs. They're proud. Do you think that Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz were ever once embarrassed for their shit libbery? No, she's proud of it. And so, and she's.
This is again how conspiracy theories about cloning get started.
This is it.
But it's just money. It turns out the secret lizard force is actually just money.
Just money. It turns
Money's
out
the most corrupting thing there is.
It's just money.
I think the most frustrating thing about this whole situation is that we just see people capitulate time and time and time again. Like the question is, was Bernie? I mean, obviously we're here together because Bernie put us together. We, this political revolution. But the fact that he threw the whole revolution under the bus. and abandon everybody is 10 times worse than anything else. It's so much more damaging. Same thing here with Krystal Ball. This is so much more damaging what she's saying today. Pretty much sheep herding people back into that Democratic Party to go vote blue, no matter who.
The Hill takes more chances than her.
Yeah.
The Hill.
They're
doing better work than her.
The Hill's doing much better work than Breaking Points is, for sure. Come see us live on tour. We're going to be in Toledo, Detroit, St. Louis, Tampa, Boca Raton, Orlando, Dallas, Houston, San Diego, Bloomington, Illinois. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.